Hello guys, welcome back again to my channel. This is Chi-VicApparels. Today we are going to be making an off-shoulder princess dart bustier. You can also call it a madam blouse. So if today is the first time you are coming across my video, you are welcome. And if this is what you are interested in learning, let's get into the video. The full length of this blouse is 27 inches. So this is 27 inches here. And it's going to be an off shoulder, so we are removing 4 inches. So we mark the same thing at the center, so that I can get a straight line. 4 inches, and I'm going to use my straight ruler to join it like so. So guys, from this 4 inches, I'm going to be marking my vertical measurements. So from here, we'll take our chest line, which is the armhole length, and in this case is 9.5 inches. Then the next is the nipple point, the bust point, which is 12 inches, the under bust, which is 16 inches, and I'll mark my shoulder to the waist at 18 inches. Okay, then from the waist the remaining is the full length, which is 27 inches. Okay, we'll do the same thing as well here, so that you can get a straight line for the points. Mark 9.5 inches here for the chest line, 12 inches for the bust point, 16 inches for the under bust, 18 inches for the waist, and 27 inches, which is the full length. So I'm going to draw a line across these points. So guys, we'll move over to mark our armhole. Okay, so remember, this is off shoulder, so we are not going to mark exactly half of our shoulder. We are going to be removing 2 inches from half of the shoulder. So the half of the shoulder of this measurement is 9 inches minus 2 inches. We have 7 inches. The bust measurement is 44 inches divided by 4, which is 11 inches. So we are going to mark 11 inches here. Mark the same thing here as well. So I'll go ahead and label these points: the chest line, the bust point, the under bust, the waistline, then the full length. Now we're going to join the armhole. So guys, I'll go ahead and mark my bust part measurements, which is the nipple to nipple measurement, and what I'm using here is 7 inches. I'll divide it by 2. I'll have 3.5 inches. Then I'll add half inch for seam allowance to make it 4 inches. I'll mark the 4 inches at this bust point line. I'll mark 4 inches there. I will also mark 4 inches at the under bust, like so. Then at the waistline also I'll mark 4 inches. At the full length I'll mark 4 inches as well. Then I'll go ahead and connect the points with my straight ruler, like so. So we are going to take out our darts. That dart I'm going to be using here is 2 inches dart. So I'm going to be taking half inch on the inwards. From the under bust, you take half inch inwards, half inch inwards at the waistline. Then we mark the same thing down to the full length. And I'm going to be joining this point with a straight ruler, like so. But at this side part of the blouse, I'm going to be taking 1.5 inch. 1.5 inch. The same thing at the waist. But when we come to the full length, I'll be taking half inch. I took half inch at that hip line so that the dress will fit on well. But if the client does not have big tummy, so you can take 1 inch or the same inches that you mark at the under bust and the waistline. Okay, I'll go ahead and join my points with my straight ruler. So I'll come down from the bust point by 1 inch so that to not be pointed at this nipple point. Then I'll connect my dart to this 1 inch that we came down with, okay, like so. From the shoulder line, I'm going to be coming down by 2.5 inches, and I'll be joining it to the bust point with a straight ruler. Then from these 2.5 inches, I'll come down by 1 inch. Use my curve ruler to connect it to the bust points like so. And I'll go ahead and blend it well so that there will not be any sharp edge at this point, okay? So I'll go ahead and mark my neck depth. We have already taken 4 inches away for our off shoulder, so I'm going to be coming down 2 inches extra, and I'll mark my 2 inches. So you decide on how deep you want your neck to be. So I'm taking extra 2 inches here. That is how deep I want the neck to be. So I'm marking sweetheart neckline. So I'll go ahead and use the curved part of my ruler to join it to the neck width like so, okay? So remember, we took 1 inch off for this princess dart. So that 1 inch, we have to extend it here so that this part will not be shorter than this part. So you extend it by that 1 inch, and you take the dart that you have there. There is not much dart, so we are going to have a new armhole here like so. So guys, I'll go ahead and add my allowances. So I've already measured my bust circumference, divide by 4, and that is what we mark here, 11 inches. Then I'll go ahead and add my sewing allowance. You decide how many inches you want to use as your sewing allowance, so you add it and add the same thing at the bust point like so. Go ahead and divide your under bust circumference by 4. Whatever you get, mark it. Then add back the dart that you took off at this point. Add it back here, and also add your sewing allowance as well, okay? Also at the waistline, your waist circumference divide by 4. You mark it. Then that's the allowance that you took off. Add it back and add your sewing allowance as well, okay? Then at the full length, your hip circumference divided by 4 is what you are going to be marking here. So hip circumference divided by 4, whatever you get, you mark it here, and add back the dart allowance that we took at this point, okay? Add it back. Then you add your seam allowance as well. So with that, I'm going to join all these points together. Join these points. This. Join this. Join here as well. So let me use my marker to make it more visible. So our measurement is complete. So what we have on this pattern paper is what we are going to be cutting exactly on our fabric. Then go ahead and mark 2 inches downwards from the bust point line like so. This will serve as our side dart. Then connect it back to the nipple to nipple measurement of 4 inches at this bust point like so. At this hemline, come up by 1.5 inch. Then connect it back and blend it well to the center like so. And I'll go ahead and use my marker to make the lines more visible like so. I'll use my scissors to open up this part. I'll go ahead and cut out this side, but I'll not cut directly at my markings, otherwise we will be short of some inches at this dart area. So I'll fold this dart part inwards I'll fold it to meet the next line. Then I'll use my marker to complete my measurement like so before cutting out our front pattern. Okay, so we can then cut out our front pattern. Okay, as you are cutting, make sure you follow the markings to cut and cut correctly like as I'm doing now. Okay, so guys, this is our front pattern for the off shoulder princess cut blouse. See that? So we'll go ahead and cut the back pattern. So guys, go ahead and measure your client's full length at the back, because the front length is not always the same as the back length. So in my own case, I'm using 25 inches. The length is 25 inches. Now I'll take 25 inches from down. Remember that we are marking off shoulder, so I'm taking out the 4 inches that we took at the front. So I'm marking my measurements at that 4 inches. I'll do the same thing at the center so that I will have a straight line like so. Okay, and I'll use my straight ruler to connect the points like so. Next is to take my vertical measurements from the off 4 inches here. I'll cut down 9.5 inches for my armhole length and mark 1 inch downwards, and that's where my dart is going to be stopping, because I'm marking my dart at the side and not at the nipple to nipple. Okay, then I'll cut down to 18 inches for my waistline, and the remaining is the full length of 25 inches. Then at the center part, I'll go ahead and mark the same points here so that we can have a straight line. Then I'll use my straight ruler to connect the points. Okay, just like so. Remember that we marked 7 inches for the front shoulder length, so that is exactly what we are going to be marking for the back. So we'll go ahead and mark our bust circumference divided by 4 and use our armhole curve to connect it to the 7 inches at the shoulder line to form our armhole. Okay, we have already marked our bust circumference divided by 4 at this point, so we'll go ahead and add our seam allowance like so. Okay, we will move over to the waistline and mark our waist circumference divided by 4. Then we'll add extra ½ inch for our darts, and we'll go ahead and add our seam allowance as well. Don't forget, we did not put our zipper allowance. So when we are cutting on the left fabric, we'll add our zipper allowance for the back. Then at the full length, we'll measure our hip circumference divided by 4. You'll mark it and add your seam allowance like so. Okay, then we'll join this line, join these points. I'll use my marker so that it will be more visible. Then I'll join it. This one will come down straight. Then I'll join it to here. So now, remember I said we are going to be taking in ½ inch darts from the side. So that ½ inch, this is the ½ inch. I'm going to be connecting it to these points. Connect it here and connect it down as well. Okay, because the dart is not going to reach the full length. So on the same line, going to be taking off ½ inch from the waist. The ½ inch will serve for eliminating the bulge at the back, so that we'll not have bulge after fixing our zip. So with this, I'll come up here by 1½ inch as well, just like here. Then I'll connect this point. I'll connect it to this 1 inch down the chest line. So the only thing we did not put here is our zipper allowance. So when we are cutting it on the main fabric, we will add our zipper allowance. For the back neckline, I'll be coming down by 1 inch, and I'll connect it like so. So from this point as well, I'm going to be bringing this down to the hemming part, just to give our blouse the shape that it's supposed to have. So connecting it like so. So that with that, you will see that this, make sure here and here matches up. It has to match up. So with that, we're going to cut our back pattern. So guys, this is the back, this is our back pattern, and this is the front pattern. Okay, this is the front pattern. And this is the back. So we'll go ahead to cut on our lining, then on the main fabric. So guys, this is crepe fabric. We are going to be using it as the underlay for the lace, as well as our lining piece. Then this is the cordless material we are going to be making use of. It is 1.5 yards. Okay, so we'll go ahead and fold our lining into two to trace the pattern that we have already cut out. Okay, go ahead and use your pin to hold it so that it will not be shifting while cutting it. Then we'll go ahead and cut the front pattern like so. Okay, remember we are cutting two lining pieces. One will serve as the underlay for the lace, while the second one will be the lining we use to turn it to the front. Okay, then we'll go ahead and cut also the lace fabric. Okay, then we'll move over to trace the pattern we have drafted for the back by folding our fabric into two. Then don't forget we have not added our zipper allowance on the pattern, so we'll do that as well here. But before that, let's cut off this 1/2 inch that we came in to eliminate our zipper bulge. Okay, then we use our pin to secure it and add our zipper allowance as well before cutting it out. Okay, and don't forget we are cutting two of these lining pieces, and we also cut the same pattern on our lace fabric as well. Okay, so guys, we are done cutting on our lining. I'll go ahead and cut on the lace fabric, and I'll cut interface and iron it on the lining that is going to serve as the underlay only. Then we'll iron the interface on both the front and the back underlay lining. Okay, I've ironed my interface on one of the lining pieces for both the front and the back. So next is to cut our wordings. Fold the wording into two and place the center front and the side front. Make sure it starts from the under bust. Okay, then go ahead and trace the shape of the bustier. Okay, then you give the wording the shape that you want it to be at the side like so. Okay, then you come up and leave 1/2 inch at the neckline. that half inch is to turn the lining to the back. Okay, then make sure it matches to the side front as well. Okay, then go ahead and cut out the wording by tracing the marks that you have made on them. Okay, then after cutting it out, you trim it very well and make a mark at the joining parts so that you will not be confused while joining it. Okay, then go ahead and iron the wordings on the underlay like so. Place the wording in a way that the part that has gum will be on the underlay before you iron it. Okay, then after ironing it, go ahead and trim off excesses like so. Okay, I will then place my lace fabric, the back facing the front of the underlay. Then I'll use either you use your hemming gum to gum it down, or you use your pin to secure it and then sew it for it not to be shifting up while joining it together. So guys, thank you very much for watching this video. If you want me to show you how I join the pieces together, go ahead, drop it on comments section. And if you also want me to show you how I drafted and sewed the blouse, because this dress has blouse, as you can see, go ahead and drop it at the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. See you on my next video. Bye bye. go ahead and make a sign on this point so that you know where to be joining it. Okay.